What's going on YouTube? It's your boy Logistical Styles coming at you with another video. And today is a special day. Today is the day that I'm finally retiring my MacBook Pro. It's a late 2013 Retina MacBook Pro. I've had it probably since 2015. I got it secondhand and I've been using it ever since. It's a laptop that I've used for a lot of stuff, not just DJing. I've made beats on it. I've used it to edit videos and surf the web, all kinds of stuff. But I'm finally retiring it because it's at a point where I can't update the operating system to get uh, to be current with the software that I'm using. Specifically, it was Serato that was holding me back. I wasn't able to take full advantage of using stems because my laptop was so old and because the um, operating system was so far back. I was using Serato with it with a unsupported operating system. I knew it was time to replace it. I am not completely putting it out to pasture. I'm still going to use it as a workhorse here in the lab for me, continuing to work on beats with it, continuing to use it to uh, record vinyl when I come across songs that I need to add to my collection. So I'm still going to use it for that type of stuff, but I have moved on, and instead of getting another MacBook Pro or getting a Windows PC, I decided to do something different, and this is something I want to do ever since late last year when they announced this device. But this is the Mac Mini. I ended up getting one of these. It's a very, very small computer, and it has a lot of power. It's a M4 Mac Mini, so it's got one of the latest processors on it, so it can handle all the software that I use. And I went with a hard drive that's the same size as the one on my MacBook Pro, which is a 512. I know I probably should have thought about the 1 terabyte, but because I'm not, I don't keep a very huge library and I'm not going to be storing everything on the Mac. I'm going to be using some external SSDs. So I have a couple of hard drives. I have about 6 terabytes worth of external storage. So I think I'm okay with what I have right here. I ended up buying it from Best Buy. I got it for, I believe the price out the door was like $862 or so. But I thought that was the only thing I was gonna get because I already have, and I've shown this on here before, I think in one of my shorts, but I'm using this to put in, I'm using it for a couple of different ways. I'm gonna use it as my workstation over here, which I'll show you in a minute. And sometimes I do carry it with me to my day job because I have a workstation set up there where I can just plug it right in and use it as needed. And I have room in my DJ Coffin for this to fit in. It fits in right in my DJ case and my controller case, and it works really well. I have experimented with a couple of different screens, portable screens. Technology has really advanced in the past couple of years, so now we have these portable screens that can work off of just a USB-C connection, and that's what I'm using when I DJ with it. I thought I was going to be able to get by with using, I have a Logitech keyboard that has a trackpad built into it. And I do use that sometimes. In fact, I will use that when I'm DJing with it in the Coffin because it just keeps it down to one device. And then when I'm here at my workstation, I ended up getting the Magic Mouse and the Magic Keyboard. So basically, I just replaced my workstation uh, in the studio, and it's also going to be able to be used as my DJing computer. Now, one thing I will say is that even though I had been thinking about getting this since it was announced late last year, I have also made the switch over to primarily using DJ Pro on my iPad Pro. And now that I'm here, now that I have it, I've realized I'm more comfortable now using my iPad Pro to DJ with. So I think that will still be my primary device for DJing with, but I will have the opportunity or capability to switch up. Maybe I'm doing an event where my iPad is in use for something else, like maybe my photo booth. So I'll be able to use my Mac Mini and hook it up and be able to DJ with that on my DJ setup. So it gives me a lot of options. It's very easy to set up. And to be honest, this is not just an Apple thing. It's not just because well, for me it is because I'm deeply entrenched in the Apple ecosystem, so it makes things so much easier because it works really well. But for a PC user, you can do this something like this as well. And there are these computers right here called a Nook. It's made by Intel. Let me show you real quick. So this right here is an Intel Nook. It's the same size. Actually, it's slightly smaller than the Mac Mini, only by like a few centimeters, but it has connections that you can use to hook up to your DJ equipment as well. This has four USB ports or USB-A 3.0 ports, but it has four of those. It has a lightning port, USB-C port, I should say, for I believe it's just power, but then it also has a regular power brick that you plug into it as well. Headphone jack, SD slot. And what's cool about these is you can actually upgrade them. You know, a lot of Apple products you can't really upgrade the insides, but with this you can. You can swap out the hard drive, you can swap out the memory, and you can really beef it up. So I could have gone this way, this route, and put this in my case as well, but I prefer to DJ and do music stuff on Apple product. And it's just a personal preference. I'm not saying one's better than the other. Overall, I'm just saying one's better for me than the other. I work in IT, so my day is fully surrounded by Windows computers. So I'm very familiar with working with Windows. I'm very familiar with the hardware and the software, but I prefer in my personal life to use Apple products, and that's just what it is. But I'm just bringing that up to let you know, yes, you could do something like this as well. And another note on that is I'm not telling you this is something you should do. I'm just telling you this is something that I'm doing and kind of explaining it and explaining the how and the why of what I'm doing. So let's go over and take a look at the setup over here in the other side of the studio. This is where I do all my music organization and editing stuff like that. So I'll switch over here and show you, how well this setup works there, and then I'll show you how I have it set up in my Coffin as well, my DJ, my road case. So let's take a quick second to switch over. Okay, so here's my setup. This is basically my workstation for any kind of music production or music editing, video editing, working on playlists, whatever you have. So this is the Mac Mini, the M4 Mac Mini. Up front, it has two USB-C ports. On the back, it has three USB-C ports. These, I believe, are Thunderbolt 4 ports. I'll have to check that to make sure. It has a HDMI port, Ethernet, and then power. Now, one thing I like about this versus that Intel Nook that I showed you is the fact that it just uses a regular power lead that goes right into it. The Intel Nook has a power brick that's on the outside, and it's just a bit bulkier. This right here is very simple to set up. Now, for my workstation here, I have quite a few peripherals set up that I hook up to it. The mouse and the keyboard are Bluetooth, so I don't have to worry about wires for that. But for my external storage that I mentioned earlier, my 6 terabytes, I have a 4 terabyte Lacy external. This is one of the spinning drives, so it's a little bit delicate. Then I have a time machine backup that I use to, make sure I always have a complete backup of everything. And then I use the SanDisk. What are these called? I'll put it in a link in the description, but it's a SanDisk 2 terabyte SSD, and this allows me to work. I usually use this for my video editing projects. So when I have a lot of videos that I need to sort through, I always use this. Oftentimes, now that I have everything on USB-C, including my um, iPad Pro and I have a iPhone 16 Pro Max. Now that it's all on USB-C, it makes things so much easier. So I can take my pictures when I'm out and about, just hook it up to my cell phone, dump it all into here, and then bring it over here onto the Mac Mini when I want to edit. Or same thing with my iPad. It also is USB-C. So having everything USB-C was very, very helpful. And that was one of the drawbacks to the old MacBook Pro is the fact that it only has USBC, a USB, only has two USB ports. It has a full-size SD card reader. It has an HDMI port, headphone jacks, and a mini display port for video. I mean, it's still useful. I'm going to use it over on my turntable section over there. So when I want to practice, DJing, maybe, with turntables, I can use that. Although I can hook my iPad up with DJ Pro and use DVS with that. So I have options now, but this is going to be like more of a tool for me to be able to do recording and editing, so I don't, bog this down with a lot of project files. This right here basically is just full of my music library. And what I love about this is I now have my music library stored here. This is the master of my music library. And I make all my playlists and make all my changes on this device, load it into my iTunes library, and then I sync my iPad up with it just by using a USB-C cable, or the same thing with my iPhone. And they both, all three devices, have the same library with the same playlist, because that's one beautiful thing about DJ Pro is you can use all those devices to DJ with. So I can hook up. I always have plenty of backup now. If my iPad goes down on me, I can pull out my iPhone and have the same library. Or if I'm working with the Mac Mini, if it goes out, then I have the iPad as backup and my iPhone. Same library, same playlist, same cue points, everything across the board. So that is one thing I really, really like about this setup. Now, that's just on the DJ side of it. On the actual just user end of it, I like it because it all integrates really well with um, each other, everything. I can start something here and then hand it off to the Mac Mini, and I can do the same thing with my iPhone. They have something called continuity, which allows you to just hand off from one device to the other and pick up where you left off. So that's really, really dope. Um, for my workstation here, I have a couple of things I hook up. I always hook up my Ethernet, so I have a good solid connection, even though this does have Wi-Fi built into it. I make sure I have my HDMI hooked up, and then my external drives are hooked up to a hub that I keep here, and it allows me to just have a little more flexibility. So I'm gonna hook it all up here. And now when I'm DJing with it, you'll see in my road case that it's only like 3 USB cables that I have to hook up to be up and running. Only three. And I like to make things as easy as possible, but I can't wait to show you the DJ side of things, because the portable monitors that I have, that and the one I've decided to use, is really good looking. But that's another thing about what made me get this Mac Mini, is because I've had this TV, or not TV, but a monitor. It's a LG like 37-inch monitor. I've had it for a while, and it was mainly used for my PlayStation that I have down here. Um, I don't use the PlayStation often down here. I have another one upstairs, so this kind of just became redundant, and it's a 4, it's an older one. So I switched out the 4. I may get a HDMI switch so I can switch back and forth between PlayStation and Mac Mini. I think I actually do have a switcher. I need to check, but I'll hook that up. But anyway, I'm going to turn on the Mac Mini here, and you can see um, just how nicely it works. So I got everything hooked up. Let's hit that power. The power button is on the bottom of the device. I'm not sure why they did that, but oh, let's get power plugged in. It's one thing I was missing. Plug in power. Now I hit the button on the bottom. It wakes up and we have power. And this screen, I really do like this screen. I've been using it for about a year now, and it looks really, really good. I'm very happy with it. So I'm just going to sign in. And this is just how it looks. So I'm really, really happy with it. I think this is going to make it actually has made my workflow better. And I can say that because now when I want to work on playlists, because this is the master device, when I pull up my music app on the Mac, it's the same thing as me using iTunes. I'm able to go in here and get my playlists and have them right here, really big in my face. And it allows me, it makes it easier for me to be able to sort stuff around and create playlists, find the redundant playlists, because sometimes it's real easy to get lost in playlists that you make for a specific party or a certain event, and then you forget to delete it, and um, it just becomes cluttered. So now I've been going through and really cleaning and working really hard on my library, and I think I want to do a video about that because I've been reinvigorated in between my events that I've been doing lately. They've been a bit more fun for me because I've been able to really focus on my playlist and really get the music that I want to play and trim out the fat, which is why my music library is probably maybe it's under 300 gigs, and it's that small. For some people, I know some folks got to have a terabyte or 2 terabytes, and that's why they always use an external. I know what I play. I don't do videos very often. I have a very small collection of videos, and I've never had to really play them. So it's video is not my thing. So I don't need to waste storage on that. And I just try to get rid of music that I don't use. I try to make sure that all the music I have is going to be of use to me. Something that's going to be, hits and bangers and albums I like, artists I like, that type of stuff. And that's why my music library is very personal to me, and I don't sell copies of my hard drive or anything like that. If a DJ needs a song, I'll help them out with that, but I'm not just giving away, all my hard-earned work or music. And because I have put a lot of work into organizing it, and I do pay for a lot of this music, or most of it. Um, the only stuff that I really haven't paid for is stuff that, when I first started with Serato, probably like in 2007, and just got as much music as possible from anywhere I could get it. And now I've been real selective about what I get. I only want the songs that I need, the songs that I like. So I'm able to really sit here and just pull up all these playlists, go through, and it just makes my DJing so much better because I'm able to focus and think about it. Um, I was trying to do that with my MacBook Pro, and it's got a smaller screen. It's not always convenient. I get distracted easily. Like this one, even though I do have it connected to the internet, I don't log into Facebook or anything from here, just because I don't like that distraction. When I'm here to do music, I'm here to do music. I may jump online and look up something or whatever have you. But if I want to get on Facebook, I'll get on my iPad or my phone or my PC over there. But anyway, this is the workstation here. I've got my little Novation launch key right here. So I've also installed Reason on this computer. I've got Reason, Reaper, I've got Virtual DJ, DJ Pro, Serato. Those are all the music programs I need for right now, and it's doing everything I needed to do. So now let's go over and take a look at how I've got it set up in the road case, and then we'll kind of wrap this video up. Okay, and so here we are looking at the setup with the Coffin. So this, I keep calling it a Coffin, that's old school terminology. This is my road case. I've got my Rev 5 up here, and the way this case came with, it's got these blocks of foam that hold it up and elevate it. The Mac Mini right here sits right below it. There's plenty of space for it. There's plenty of room for ventilation. And then up here, I've decided to go with this Asus monitor. It's a portable monitor, only connects via USB-C. That's all it needs, and that provides power and video signal. It's very nice. It's got a power button up front, and then it's got that USB-C. That's really all there is to it. It's got a little 1/4 inch hole, so you can actually screw it into some kind of stand if you needed to. But for what I'm using, the way I'm using it, I've got this little laptop stand or tablet stand. I'm just going to sit it right there and plug in the one USB-C cable there. Then I've got I've got 4 things to plug in. I've got my power, and this is not the original power cable that came with it. I grabbed this from one of my Surface laptops. So now I've got a power cord here. I've got a power cord at my workstation over there that we just came from. And then I have one at my office at work. So I don't have to worry about carrying power cords around. They're very very universal and easy to find, these kind of power. I've got one USB-C cable that goes into the Rev 5. I've got the video cable for the monitor. And then this is optional. This is because of the particular keyboard and trackpad I'm using. I'm using this Logitech wireless keyboard with a trackpad. It's not Bluetooth though. It requires a little USB receiver. I'm gonna eventually get one of these that are in Bluetooth, so I don't have to worry about um, hooking this up. But for now, all I have to do is plug in my little dongle for the keyboard and trackpad, plug in my Rev 5, plug in the video screen, and then plug in power. No need to plug in the Ethernet because it's all, this has Wi-Fi built in, and no need for the HDMI because the video is all connected with one cord, power and video. So I just hit the power button on the Mac Mini. You hear it start up, and then just watch the screen. You see the controller lit up. You see the logo right there. And I kept this screen because it just looks better. I have a Lenovo screen that I showed it in my previous video. It's nice, it's glossy, but it has it doesn't always display correctly. I found that maybe it's because of the resolution or whatever, but it's a nice screen, but I'm choosing to go with this Asus. And the funny thing is, this Asus is actually cheaper than that Lenovo one. That Lenovo screen is about 300 bucks. This is maybe 150, somewhere in that area. But I'm able to sign in. I can keep my keyboard down here if I don't need it, But this will boot up. Usually, when you boot up for the first time on the Mac, it takes maybe 20 seconds or so before you get to the desktop. But once I'm there, I'm able to go ahead and launch. Um, let's go with DJ Pro. Let's launch DJ Pro from here. See how quickly it pops up. That DJ Pro just pops up quicker anyway, but the fact that, I got a modern computer finally, it moves a little bit quicker. And even Serato. Serato still has the whole library reading thing that it goes through, but for the most part, I'm able to just get up and running with no problem. And really, once I'm in the program, I don't need the keyboard that much because I've got my crates set up properly. So I can jump into a crate if I need to look for a certain kind of music. The controller has all the buttons I need to jump in and out of playlist. Can jump into that playlist, load a song, see how quickly it loads up, load a song, just like that, bam. I don't have speakers hooked up, so you won't hear any music or anything, but it looks good, it works great. I'm really, really happy with this setup. And like I say, normally I've gotten more comfortable with using my iPad as my computing device for DJing. And I'm not always going to be using this Mac Mini, but there will be situations specifically coming up. Actually, next weekend, I'm doing a gig that requires photo booth. So my iPad will be used for the photo booth. So I will be DJing with this. And then not the following week, but the week after that, I have another event the same way, photo booth and DJ. So I will be using this in real life situations, and this will be a real case scenario. I made sure that I've made this case have everything I need so I can just show up, plug and play. And having this Mac Mini is just like the icing on the cake for me with this lovely screen. So this is it. This is how I'm rocking for this whole year. I'm going to be using either the Mac Mini or the iPad Pro, just depending on what the event requires. And because I have this current computer, I can now also use Serato. And the reason I would use Serato, even though I've pretty much converted fully to DJ Pro, is the Rev 5 just seems to work so much better with Serato as far as the jog wheels. Everything else is perfect. Everything else is great. But the jog wheels with the Rev 5 seem to be more responsive. Now, did get some tips from some people on the DJ algorithm for them, and they told me to make some changes to some of the settings. So I'm going to try that. But just out the box, it works better with DJ Pro or with Serato, and that's because it was made for it. But either way, it's a great combination, regardless of what program I use. It only matters when I'm trying to scratch. When I'm trying to do a lot of heavy scratching, that's when it's important. But when I'm mixing, I can do great things with DJ Pro. And I'm going to do a video and discuss that a little bit more. I know I've kind of slowed up on my DJ Pro videos, but I am a fan and I will continue to use it. So let's go ahead and jump back over to the desk and let's wrap this video up. All right, so hopefully that was a little bit enlightening and kind of answered some of the questions that I got from people who viewed the other video about me with using the Mac Mini in the road case. You see, it's actually easier than it sounds. A lot of people had questions or about the how feasible is that? Is it really something that's going to work? And yes, it will work. I've tested it. I've done, hours of testing with this, and it works as well as it could. So I'm very happy with it. I think this will make my DJing a little bit more fun for a number of reasons. Like I mentioned, I'm able to sit at a bigger screen and go through my library a lot more thoroughly, get those playlists created, just make sure that I'm well armed when I go to a party and I'm not like searching, and I was feeling like my music was getting my playlists were getting a little bland and repetitive, and it kind of I got a reminder of that when I looked at the top requested songs from 2024 and saw that most of those songs on my playlist were like every wedding that I did last year. So I'm like, I got to clean this up. I got to get this work. I got to get this music, worked out and make sure that, I'm being more unique. And that is what I'm getting from this Mac Mini. I'm being able to deeply dive into my library more and get control over it. Now, there were a couple of things that I did learn along the way because I had been working with such an old operating system, Mac operating system, for so long. There's some new things I like about it. The way my iPhone now can be mirrored onto the screen. I love that. They have this feature called iPhone mirroring, and it allows you to basically have your iPhone right there on the screen. And you can move it away, bring it back when you need to, but when you get messages or any kind of notifications on your phone, you can answer it there, right on the computer. And Windows does have something like that. They have a phone link app, but it does not work nearly as well as the Apple iPhone mirroring. So, things like that make my life so much easier. But then, like when I set up my Apple Music program, I had to turn off Cloud Sync. That really caused some issues. It duplicated all my playlists. So things like that, you really got to go into the settings and really look at the selections that are made and determine if that's going to work for you. I thought Cloud Sync was going to be a great thing because it would sync everything across all the devices, but I don't need it because DJ Pro has a Cloud Sync feature in it as well, and it does exactly what I want it to do. It allows the playlist or the cue points to update across devices, and that's all I need. I don't need Apple, managing my library. So you have to turn those features off. But the way I'm using it, iTunes or Apple Music, whatever you want to call it, it's just my music library. It's the way I organize things, and it's the way I keep my phone and my iPad and my computer all in sync with each other manually, not using the cloud, but manually moving digital files from one device to the other. So that makes things a lot easier. I'm really excited for the busy season. I know May is going to be really busy for me. I've got some things brewing up for June. July is kind of sparse. But that's the way the DJ business is. I think a lot of people are feeling that, but that's a whole nother video. So anyway, I just wanted to give this update, fill in some questions that people had about my setup and just show you, what I'm thinking, how I'm going to do it. And, if you've done something like this, let me know in the comments. Let me know what you think. If you have questions, any more questions, let me know in the comments. I'll try to respond as much as possible. But anyway, just a quick video to keep things moving. This your boy Logistical Styles. Keep tuned for the next video. If you're new here, don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button, and I will see you on the next video. All right? Peace.